Artlist.io. We gon' give them what they came for. We gon' take it up from last year. Shoot on my shot, boy, I'm long range. Me and the team on the same thing. Stayed down, never switched up. Only thing changed was the game. I'm in the zone now. Nothing can change what we on now. When I pull up, know it's going down. Foot on the gas, ain't no slowing down.
Music licensing reimagined.
Watch the game change, yeah.
Artlist.io.
Watch the game change. Watch the game change. Watch the game change. Watch the game change. I do not gamble, but bet on me. Tell them that's like, yeah, it's la vie. I'm taking a shot for my enemies. I can't waste no more time on my energy. I know they know I got it on lock. Go against me, that's a long shot. Cause I'm trying to win.
Music licensing reimagined.
Who do you feel when they make you the monster? I am not scared of none of you imposters. Taking the lead now while they watching. Think you should leave now while the option. Taking no else, yeah, I gotta win. Watch me kick down the doors, they won't let me in. I'm running the game now. Foot on the gas, can slow down. No, my team, we holding it down. We know we running it now. Watch the game change. Watch the game change. Watch the game change. Watch the game change. Yeah.
Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. From the Channel 9 studio, this is Sports Chat with Mr. 33. I am he, Mr. 33, and welcome in as we are finishing off week one of the NFL season, Sunday night version. We are in the midst of a chaotic game tonight, the Sunday night game between the Baltimore Ravens and the Buffalo Bills. Baltimore is leading 40-38 with 53 seconds. Buffalo has the ball, 2nd and 10, and they're driving. Great pass. Steps out of bounds to the 35. So it's 1st and 10 at the 35, 46 seconds. Buffalo has no timeouts. Lamar Jackson, all he can do is watch. This game was wild. They was up 40-25 with about 5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. And this is what's going on with it. I'm watching the game, so y'all bear with me. They're in shotgun position. Josh Allen got the ball, throws the pass, complete. Oh, he trips him, but they're at the 10-yard line? Is it 1st and goal or 11-yard line, 1st and goal? 38 seconds. I don't know who called the timeout, but Baltimore probably did. Oh, Keon Coleman. He got tripped up at the 10-yard line. I believe Baltimore called a timeout to try to save some clock. As Baltimore, I don't even know how this happened. This is remarkable. They have scored 13 unanswered points within the last 4 minutes and change. It's 1st and goal. But this is one of many games that has its ups and downs. A wild Sunday night / Sunday period. As most of the games, were down to the wire. Whether it's the Steelers and Jets, whether it's Seattle and San Francisco, there's so many games that came down to the wire on this day alone. Josh Allen's having a field day. 4 for 4 on his drive, 71 yards with no timeouts. They're going to make Baltimore use all their timeouts. It's first and goal. Baltimore called the timeout. They have one remaining, 35 seconds. So let's just, if we look at this game alone, right? Even though this game is not over, Lamar Jackson is 14-19, 210 yards. He ain't gonna touch the ball no more, I believe. 210 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Derrick Henry has 18 rushes for 167 yards, 2 touchdowns. And Lamar has a rushing touchdown himself. Zay Flowers leads the receivers with 143 receiving yards on 7 catches. So you would look at this and say, how in the world did they get back? Well, Josh Allen is 33 or 46 for 394 yards, 2 touchdowns. He has 2 touchdowns passing, 2 touchdowns rushing. James Cook has a touchdown. Keon Coleman has 8 receptions for 112 yards. And like I said, this is more of a shootout. I don't think nobody has Buffalo just took a knee again. 32 seconds. Baltimore used their final timeout. So how are they going to do this? So we're going to find out. They're going to get enough time. They're going to kneel, get the people to come out there. We're going to call this last 32 seconds. But if you look at the team stat, I don't think there's no turnovers in this game. No, they got to be because Derrick Henry fumbled the ball. Buffalo has almost 500 yards total offense. Baltimore has 431. There's no defense in this game. Baltimore has 236 rushing yards. They control the time, but Buffalo now controls the time possession. They took over this entire last 5 minutes. Yeah, they lost the fumble. That was it. He took a knee, 30 seconds. They're running off the field. They're telling the field goal unit to go on out there. Nobody has timeouts. So here comes the field goal kicker, Prater. 16, 15, 14. The clock is still winding. He's setting up. 10 seconds. He's in position. 1, 2, 6 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2. They snap it. The kick is up. The kick is good. And Buffalo wins the game on a crazy night. They just won the game. What an unbelievable game. If you didn't see it, I will go through not the highlights. I will go through the stats once again with you and for you. But Buffalo did pull off a comeback. They literally went on a 16-point run as the score was 40-25. Buffalo went for 2-point conversions. They didn't make it, but they still won the game on the last second kick by the field goal kicker Prater. But I'm just listen. It was a great game to watch. If you missed it, like I said, I'm gonna go over the stats once again. Y'all want to start with Baltimore again? We're gonna start with Baltimore again. Like I said, Lamar Jackson had 210 passing yards of 14-19, 2 touchdowns. He rushed for a touchdown, had 70 yards rushing. Derrick Henry had 167 yards with 18 carries, and Zay Flowers led the receivers with 143 receiving yards. On the other side, like I said, Josh Allen was 33 or 46, 394 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns, 2 passing touchdowns. Keon Coleman led the Bills with 112 receiving yards on 8 catches. And like I said, the last 5 minutes, they went on the score was 40-25. They got the stops. They got a fumble. They got a key turnover from Derrick Henry, recovered the ball, and they did what they needed to do. So Buffalo goes to 1-0, and the Ravens go to 0-1. Man, what a game. What a game. So that was tonight's game. We had, like I said, we had several other games that went down to not the wire, but, you had last second plays here, last second plays there. So I'm just telling y'all it was a great Sunday. Uh, we still got a game tomorrow. Minnesota is heading to Chicago, right? So uh, let's go to the game that had a very crazy outcome as well. So today, the Pittsburgh Steelers and their new quarterback Aaron Rodgers went to the metal. Oh my God, I almost said the Meadowlands. Forgive me, y'all. He went to MetLife Stadium to play Justin Fields and his new team. Now the thing was, they both these quarterbacks played on the opposite team last year, and they really had a great game, right? But at the end of the day, Aaron Rodgers led his team to a 34-32 victory. You can't complain about nothing he did. Well, no, you can't complain about nothing he really did. He was 22 of 30 for 244 yards with 4 passing touchdowns. No running game to help him. DK Metcalf had 83 receiving yards on 4 catches. And on the other side, you had Justin Fields, 16 of 22 for 218 yards, a touchdown pass. He also had 2 rushing touchdowns. So then you have Breece Hall, who had 19 carries for 107 yards, and Garrett Wilson led the New York Jets with 95 receiving yards and a touchdown with 7 receptions. But this boiled down to a costly fumble here as well. And Aaron Rodgers capitalized on that and got a touchdown out of that turnover. And then he led his team down the field and hit a 60-yard field goal. The Jets had the ball with 30 seconds to go on 4th down. Garrett Wilson was popped and lost the reception to keep the drive going. And so that's how the Jets lost today. Aaron Rodgers, like I said, he had a good game today. He was I don't even know how he was getting off on play action passes. There was no running game. I think they had about 50 yards rushing with 20 carries. But he did what he needed to do. DK had a lot of yards after the catch, bouncing people off him. It was a good game. There was no real defense really played besides that last hurrah by Jalen Ramsey, but the score was 34-32. Justin Fields had a pretty good game, like I said. He only missed 6 passes, but he only threw 22. So it was a good game, but Aaron Rodgers won it out, so you can't even get mad. What other scores y'all want to talk about? We can go down to Atlanta, where the Falcons lost the game 23-20. Wasn't really much to talk about in this game, right? Baker Mayfield was 17 of 32, 167 yards, 3 touchdowns. Ibuka had 67 receiving yards, a new receiver over there. I guess he's there to replace Chris Godwin. But he had 67 yards and 2 touchdowns. Not much from the running game, even though they did get over 100 yards. It was sporadic. Matter of fact, Baker Mayfield led the team in rushing with 39 yards. And for the Falcons, Michael Penix had 298 passing yards, 1 touchdown. He rushed for a touchdown. What is going on? There must be a lot of quarterback sneaking going on. Bijan Robinson, the running back, he only had 24 yards rushing, but he had 100 yards receiving. So he led the team in receiving. He had a touchdown per catch. But at the end of this game, the Falcons drove. They got a field goal attempt to tie the game. Younghoe Koo went wide right. That's why they didn't go into overtime, and that's why they're 0-1. And Tampa Bay is 1-0. So we know now that the Bucks are ahead of the Falcons in the NFC South. If I'm not mistaken, yes, both the other teams lost. The Saints lost today. They lost to the Arizona Cardinals 20-13. And the Panthers lost to the Jaguars. Speaking of the Jaguars, let me go on over there and see how the young boy did. So today was the debut of Travis Hunter. He did play both sides of the ball. The Jaguars did win 26-10. Nothing really. Trevor Lawrence only had 178 passing yards, 19-31. But Travis Hunter caught his first pass today. He had 6 receptions for 33 yards, no touchdowns. But he helped his team win the game. And he also he played defense. He has an assisted tackle. So he did, like I said, he played both sides of the ball. But the Jags went on to beat the Panthers 26-10. Allowing the Jags to become 1-0, and the Panthers going to 0-1. And we also saw that the number 1 draft pick today, who is oh my God, what's his boy name? Cam Ward. Cam Ward played against the Denver Broncos. It's a tough matchup for him because we know that Denver defense does play very well. The Broncos did get the win 20-12. His first week stats is 12 of 28 for 112 yards. He had Tony Pollard with a little rushing attack, 18 for 60 yards. But like I said, he ran into the Broncos. So, and they only had they had 1 touchdown. No, they did not. They didn't have a touchdown. So they scored only on field goals. And on the Broncos side, Bo Nix had a erratic game, 25 of 40, 176 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. So the Titans played some defense over there. RJ Harvey led the team in rushing with 70 yards, and Sutton led the receiver corps with 61. But good win for the Broncos, who's 1-0, and the Titans are 0-1, obviously. And if y'all want to finish off the AFC West, let's do that. The New England Patriots hosted the Raiders, and Pete Carroll's first game as the Raiders head coach. Excuse me, and he had Geno Smith, a familiar player to his team, and he had a great. Geno Smith was 24 of 34 for 362 yards, 1 touchdown, and a pick. Brock Bowers led the receivers as expected. 5 receptions for 103 yards. Drake May had an okay game, 30-46, 287 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. And Boutte is their leading receiver with 6 receptions, 103. I believe he's a tight end too. So it went back and forth, but not back and forth, but the Raiders scoring 13 second half points, while New England only scored 3, was what led them to the victory. So, like I told y'all, I did say it would be crazy if the AFC West, everybody else wins but Kansas City, and that's exactly what happened. The entire AFC West won except for Kansas City. So now we got, it's still early, but you got a question: is this the division that's going to win all the good games? I mean, get the three playoff teams. We saw today. The Bengals, they struggled today against the Browns, winning their game 17-16. Everybody always talking about Cincinnati starts off slow, but they did have to, It's a divisional game. Joe Burrow had a horrible game though. He was 14 of 23 for 113 yards with a touchdown, but they still won the game. Flacco was 31 of 45 for the Browns, 290 yards, 2 picks, and a touchdown. T. Higgins is the leading receiver with 33 receiving yards. And for the Browns, Jerry Jeudy was 66 yards. Nothing really to write about other than that. But, Cincinnati, they did get a win. Like I said, people would worry about them starting off slow. So we got Cincinnati and Pittsburgh with one and O's, and that heartbreaking loss for the Ravens and the Browns. They are 0-1. Miami lost horribly. I don't know what the hell happened to the Dolphins, right? They lost 33-8, but they did play the Colts, and they was really doing it for, like, they had a ceremony for Jim Irsay, the owner of the Colts, who passed away this summer, and they played like they ain't had nothing to lose, outscoring the Dolphins didn't score until the fourth quarter. So the score was literally like 25-0. So, even if you look at the stats, right, this will tell you everything you need to know. They took Tua out as he was 14 of 23 for 114 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, and put Zach Wilson in. Almost called him Tyrone Hill. The Cheetah only had 40 receiving yards, and he was the leading receiver. So that's why they made Danny Dimes look like he was Danny Dimes. They made Daniel Jones look Danny Dimes, as he had 22 completions with 29 attempts, no turnovers, 272 yards, 2 touchdowns rushing. Michael Pittman had 80 receiving yards to lead the team. So they played some good football. So now the Colts is 1-0 in the AFC South, and everybody else in the AFC is 0-1 except for Buffalo with their turnaround win. I was really worried. I thought everybody in the AFC was going to be 0-1. But like I said, we just going through some stats because I'm just glad football's back, and it shows how it's back because there was a lot. Like I said, there was a lot of good games. In Los Angeles, the Rams pulled out a victory 14-9 over the Texans. CJ Stroud, he didn't have a good game per se. 19 of 27, 188 yards, 1 pick. The lead receiver was Higgins with 2 receptions for 32 yards. So, but Matthew Stafford had a very good game, 21 of 29, 245 yards. Puka Nacua had 10 receptions for 130 yards. Devontae Adams in his first game with the Rams had 51 receiving yards. And as the Titans was driving, they stripped the receiver of the football, and the Rams recovered, and that shut down any hopes of a comeback for the Titans, as the Rams are 1-0 and the Texans are 0-1 up in Seattle. Yeah, they was in Seattle. Seattle was the San Francisco 49ers came to visit them, and they ended up outscoring the Seahawks 10-3 in the fourth quarter to get the victory, as Brock Purdy was 26-35, 277 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. McCaffrey had 69 rushing yards and 73 receiving yards. Ricky Pearsall led all receivers with 108 yards and 4 receptions. But McCaffrey had 9 receptions. But they stripped Sam Darnold at the end, got the fumble recovery, that ended any hopes of the Seahawks catching, taking the lead or winning the game. Well, pretty much winning the game. As Sam Darnold was only 16 to 23, 150 yards. No rushing attack. Charbonnet only had 47 rushing yards. And the Smith Najibba had 124 receiving yards. That's crazy. If Sam Darnold had 150 yards and he had 124, Cooper Kupp playing for the Seahawks for the first time only had 2 receptions for 15 yards. So that pretty much sums it up. Nobody else was getting open but Smith Najibba and Jigba, excuse me for butchering his name. But that was a rivalry game anyway, and they play each other like that all the time. So the 49ers go to 1-0, Seahawks go to 0-1. The Cardinals, they defeated the Saints 20-13, giving them a 1-0 start, and having the Saints go to 0-1. Nothing really to talk about. Kyler Murray had 163 yards on 21 of 29 passing, 2 touchdowns. Marvin Harrison Jr. led the receivers with 71 receiving yards with a touchdown. Spencer Rattler, he was 27 to 46 for 214 yards. No turnovers, no touchdowns. Alvin Kamara was only with 11 carries for 45 yards. Was he a part of the pass? He only had 2 receptions. Olave was 8 receptions for 76 yards. They tried to throw the ball to Olave to tie the game at the end, but it was incomplete. So, like I said, the Cardinals get out of there with a victory, 1-0. Saints is 0-1. So you got the Niners and Cardinals 1-0. Oh, excuse me, Lions, Cardinals, and Rams 1-0. And who did I just say lost? That was crazy. I just blinked out. The Cardinals, the Rams, the 49ers, the Seahawks are 0-1. So more scores, just to have all of the scores figured out. The Lions and Packers. The Packers 27, the Lions 13, as Jordan Love started off. Well, yeah, he started off well, 16 to 22 for 188 yards. Josh Jacob with 66 rushing yards. Dobbs with 68 receiving yards. Michael Parsons in his first game, he did record a sack. He gave the defense a little bit of energy, something that Dallas is really going to miss. But on the other side, you had Jared Goff was 31 of 39 for 225 yards, a touchdown and a pick. No rushing attack, as Montgomery only had 11 carries for 25, and Gibbs had 9 for 19. But Laporta led all receivers. No, excuse me. Yeah, Laporta led all receivers in yards, but Jerron Gibbs was 10 receptions of 31. They was coming after Jared Goff. They really was after him, right? And that took away from most play action passes. The running game, they really came after them to make a statement. So the Packers is up 1-0. The Lions are 0-1. This was the Lions' first loss in the division. Like, they won 8 consecutive games, I believe, against the Packers. But now that streak is over. We have, what else do we have? I just said the Raiders won. The Giants versus the Commanders. The Commanders took care of business 21-6. As Jaden Daniels was 19 of 30 for 233 yards. Krosky Merritt was leading the rushing attack with 82. Jaden Daniels had 68 rushing yards. Debo had a rushing touchdown in his first game with the Commanders, as well as leading the team with 7 receptions with 77 yards. But this is Russell Wilson's first game as a Giant quarterback. They didn't score a touchdown, so he was 17 of 37, 168 yards, no touchdown, no pick. But he did lead the team in rushing with 44 yards. When you got Russell Wilson leading your team with rushing yards, y'all in trouble. Malik Neighbors only had 71 yards. Like I said, no scoring. They didn't score anything. The Giants defense, they had pressures, but they had about 3 sacks. So the defense held them to a decent amount of scoring, but it's just that the Giants had no offense, scoring field goals in the second and third quarter, but allowing the Commanders to get 3 touchdowns. You can't trade touchdowns with field goals. So now the Giants are on 1, as well as the Cowboys, and the 2 teams we predicted to be fighting for this division, the Commanders and the Eagles, are 1-0. So, it's like I said, we still got one more game in the NFC North, as Minnesota is going to play in Chicago to play the Bears. I think I got all the scores and things like that. Did I miss a score? Said the Saints, said the Jets. I said, we got every game this weekend. Well, this Sunday anyway. We got every game. Tomorrow night is once again Minnesota traveling to Chicago. But all in all, like I said, you had a 1 game, a 1-point game, a 3-point game. You had a lot of 1 possession games, literally. Right? Even tonight, you had a field goal to end the game. You had a 14-9 game. That was the Rams and Texans. You had a 20-12 game. That's a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. The 49ers stopped the Seahawks 17-13. Raiders 20-13. Bengals 17. Cleveland 16. Falcons missed the field goal to tie the game. It was 23-20. Falcons lost to the Tampa Bay Bucks. The Cardinals 20. The Saints 13. The Jets 34. The Steelers 34 and the Jets 32. Of course, we had the 1 possession game in Brazil. No, we didn't. Yeah, I guess we did have a 1 possession game. It was what I'm talking about. The Chargers 27 and the Chiefs 21. The Eagles 24-20 to start the whole season off. So we had some very close games this week. And like I said, most of these games that I'm talking about, they mostly were divisional games. So we are not shocked that people are trying to set the tones in week 1, but a lot of people are getting hurt at the same time because they're trying to set the tone at the same time. But you only practice 3 weeks in the summer against live players. So you have to know if you're not practicing hard enough, you're going to hurt yourself. And if you ain't practicing well enough, your team is not going to be on the same page. But there was a lot of penalties, a lot of mishaps. So, they still need time to have, discipline and cohesion. A lot of these teams, you can't give up 100 yards in penalties and expect to win. The Eagles did, but they withheld all of that, right? So that's not a good thing to have 100 yards. It's even rarer if somebody has 100 yards in penalties and still win. So, but we know Thursday night game is going to be BDB. What up, Nine? How you feeling? How you living? We know that next week, this coming Thursday, the 9-11. I hate saying the 9-11 game, but y'all forgive me. That's not how I meant it to be. But the game Thursday is going to be Washington heading to Green Bay to play the Packers. That's the Thursday night game. Like I said, we still got the Vikings and Bears tomorrow night as well. Now that was a rough loss. Like I just told everybody, to give up 16 points in the last 5 minutes in the game, and y'all had the game in control. Y'all rushed the ball like daggone near 300 yards. No, about 2 and some change, because Lamar did have 100 and something passing. But it's just like I was saying, you still need time to get that cohesion going, whether it's defensively, offensively. It was a lot of penalties and a lot of unfortunate opportunities. Now, when Derrick Henry fumbled the ball, I was kind of shocked, because I'm saying, wait a minute, when do you fumble the ball? But then you could just feel a whole momentum going. It's just shifting to Buffalo, and it's like they can't do this. And and you saw Lamar Jackson face, like, we can't keep going through this like this, And he's absolutely right. Y'all got to figure out ways to maintain the victory or maintain the lead and get out of there with the victory. Don't allow this one team to be your kryptonite. We know in the playoffs, Mark Andrews dropped the ball to tie the game, and it's you gotta find a way to get over those type of situations. The more every time you're going up there, it seems like y'all finding ways to lose. But if you understand how adversity makes you more diverse, you have to find a way to overcome that quote unquote jinx, because this ain't a generational curse, right? So it's a jinx. Like, y'all just play, y'all must got like a rabbit foot in your helmets or something, right? But you got to find a way to do that. Like I said, Derrick Henry had the ball 18 times and rushed for 167 yards. One of those times he lost a fumble, right? Lamar Jackson had a decent game, and it's like he has to feel like, enough is enough. Just let me play defense, son. Let me get an interception. Let me, you know what I'm saying? But it's just a tough loss for the Ravens. Now the Eagles, they did what they needed to do. I just always felt that Micah Parsons trade is going to hurt the Cowboys more than they really understand. I don't see them making the playoffs, to be honest with you. I don't care how good Dak has a good year. If you can't rush the passer, you telling Dak, I'm paying you all this money, you're going to have to outplay these other quarterbacks. Is he going to be able to outplay Jalen Hurts? He didn't the first week. Is he going to be able to outplay Jaden Daniels? I don't know. Well, what we saw from Russell Wilson. Bro, man, what's going on? How you feeling? Welcome in. We saw what happened with Russell Wilson. I'm telling you this. If Russell Wilson continue to play like that, they're going to bring in Mr. Dart. And they are already clamoring for this guy anyway, because he did well in preseason. I don't remember Jackson Dart playing any number one defenses in the preseason. But when you don't score no touchdowns and you leading the team in rushing, they're going to call him. They're going to call for him. So, but those are the three quarterbacks in your divisions. I didn't even get to mention Jordan Love. I didn't get to mention Jared Goff. Matthew Stafford, right? You got 2 in your division. I just named 2 others, right? Is he going to outlast Baker Mayfield? We know Baker Mayfield is well, you can say what you want, but those Buccaneers is constantly making them playoff runs. They're constantly winning that division, even if it's dull and no good or whatever. He's representing that division. He's the one that's winning the division. So will Dak be able to outplay him? Is Dak going to be able to outplay Brock Purdy? Like I said, I just gave 6 names. So what is he, roughly 7th in the division? You know, and like I said, we ain't we don't even know what Caleb Williams is going to do. He plays them all. We don't even know what JJ McCarthy is going to do. He plays them all. This is his first game. Is they going to be able to lead? Is he going to be able to lead the Vikings to where they were last year? I doubt it. But is he going to be in the way for Dak Prescott? Who knows? If the offensive coordinator who gave Sam Darnold made him have a resurrection season, if he could do it with JJ McCarthy, the Dallas Cowboys could be on the outside looking in. And that's why, you can't be trading away. I ain't going to say, well, you can't be trading away jewels. I was going to say generational player, but I'm not ready to put Michael Parsons there. Like I said, he got a sack today because they made sure that the Lions had no running game. So they pinned them ears back and said, let's go get him. Yeah, he got it. Listen, man. I get it, right? You say you love the game and this, that, and the third, but sometimes you got to learn how to let that love. You got to love yourself to know I don't want to look like Aaron Rodgers. They're gonna say Aaron Rodgers had a great game today, right? He was 22 of 30, 4 touchdowns. A lot of that was off of play action passes. He caught the Jets off of many. The Jets was discombobulated on defense. This is you got to have a pocket for him. He moved around well enough but he was getting hit and sacked and everything too. The difference is his team pulled out the victory. He scored 4 touchdowns. Russell Wilson didn't. I don't even think they had a red zone appearance. So of course you're gonna have to look at Russell Wilson like, okay, you better do something because I know that MetLife Stadium. I know that New York chat line, the media, they will be calling for Jackson Dart. And it's already bad enough because I already know that it took the Giants 90-something years to be the last team to play a black quarterback. Russ, you ain't looking. I don't care if they tell Jameis to go in there. I don't care. You need something. You need somebody that's going to take. I'd rather take Jameis taking risks and throwing an interception trying to go for a touchdown than what you saw today. If y'all don't agree with that, then I don't know what to tell y'all. But Russell Wilson, he better have a better game coming up next week. If he don't got a better game next week, then, man, 0-2 ain't looking good for nobody, especially them. And who do they play next week? I just saw who they play. Who the hell? They play the Cowboys. So, let's see how that works out. And they in Dallas. I don't see them winning. If you look at the Giants, I got them. I think I have them being like 6-11, or is it 5? I can't remember. I think it's 6-11. Yeah, I don't. It don't look good. Yeah, they going to the $1 billion playpen. They going now. The defense is going. The sad part is the defense may keep them in the game, but Russell Wilson is not going to be able to produce. If he ain't able to produce and the defense do what it did, like Jaden Daniels did not have a good game by all means, We know last year they were scoring 35, 38, 41. That Giant defense kept them to 21 points. They just couldn't score. So, Russell Wilson may be on the clock already. And I'm saying this before anybody else says, Stephen A., First Take, whoever. I'm saying it before they even start talking. I'm telling you now. So if y'all hear it tomorrow, just remember Mr. 33 said it first. You ain't heard from him yet. Unless Nightcap is talking about it and we bound. I mean, I'm on live. I ain't listening to Nightcap. But he's on the clock right now. He's on the clock. I don't know what they're doing. Like I said, they may just bypass Jameis and just say, "Go ahead, Jackson Dart. You go on out there and do what you need to do." It's just crazy. Not Gary A. Not Gary A. That's crazy because we from Queens. I'm gonna just leave that there. He from one side, I'm from the other. But he older than me though. He from that holler side. So let me just go through the next week's schedule, right? I already told y'all that the Giants is playing the Cowboys. We know the Thursday night game. 33 take. I ain't that don't say that, BDB. That might be. I might put that up there. Oh, that matter of fact, I gotta talk to my editor. My co-host, he mad right now. His team lost. So I know he in the Raptors, but it's all right. My team lost too, Coach D. You know what I'm saying? But the Seahawks play. The Seahawks is going to Pittsburgh next Sunday. The Rams will be heading to Tennessee to take on the Titans. Buffalo will be going to MetLife Stadium to play the Jets. The Dolphins are hosting the New England, Cincinnati, and Jacksonville. Saints is hosting the 49ers. Baltimore will try to bounce back against the Browns. I mean, Joe Flacco had a pretty good game, but if they go like 0-3, y'all may hear that Shador talk too. So and Joe Flacco, he's kind of old. So that's gonna be an interesting take too. But it's still early, y'all. We still got a couple more weeks to go. This is only week 1, but a lot of people was expecting this. So you got to be careful what y'all ask for. Y'all want to sit there and play with these veteran quarterback when y'all ain't got nothing to lose but the experience. They better bounce back for real. The Lions going to try to bounce back against Chicago. Let's see how Chicago do. Denver going to Indy to play the Colts. I do not think Daniel Jones is going to have a second game like that. I do not. Arizona is home against the Panthers. We already know about the Super Bowl rematch. That's the game of the week next week. That'll be on, I believe that's on Fox next week. Kansas City. Philly will be going to Kansas City. Listen, y'all just tell Jalen Carter, keep his fluids to himself. Just sweat. Don't even wipe your brow and throw it at nobody. You might get suspended. Stop playing with him. You know what I mean? Pat Mahomes, he looked upset from his loss in Brazil, Sao Paulo. They was in Sao Paulo, and then the Sunday night game is going to be the Vikings hosting the Falcons. Michael Penix Jr. was looking pretty good. It's not his fault. Younghoe Koo didn't hit the field goal to tie the game, but he did look pretty good. Bijan was looking great. He got to get Drake. Well, Drake London was injured and got out the game. So he had Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts looked good in the last drive. So you got to be careful of that. And next week, y'all, is going to be 2 Monday night games, but we'll have that conversation tomorrow. The first game is going to be Houston Texans. They hosting Tampa Bay. And then we got another division game as the Raiders is hosting the Los Angeles Chargers in Vegas for Pete Carroll's first home game. Now I didn't see the game, but I take it as a grain of salt because Drake May had a decent game, but it's Drake May, right? And we know that oh God, what is his name? Forgot his name. The coach of the Patriots. He used to play for them too. It'll bounce to me later. He's not an offensive quarterback. He's not an offensive coordinator. So, let's see how Pete Carroll handles Justin Herbert, who had a great game against the Chiefs. But the Chiefs, they ain't had no offensive line, and that defense was missing in action. So will they recover on next? Will they recover against the Eagles? Well, we know Saquon and they coming in, so that's going to be an interesting game. But those are the games for week 2. But yeah. So we got through this first Sunday, but the whole entire first week was exciting. From Thursday night to Friday night to today, most of the games, like I said, most of the games are one possession games. And that's you can't really ask for too much of that. That Baltimore game tonight was unbelievable. Like I told y'all, as I called the last 45 seconds as I came on air. I don't know. It's not even kryptonite. It's just that that's the case. San Diego, Los Angeles could have been their kryptonite because they did nothing. They had no answers for Justin Herbert. They made Justin Herbert look like Joe Montana. He running down the sideline, sliding bounds to kill the game. It's something going on over there. Like sometimes a regime breaks up on its own. You don't have to let a player go or things like that. Sometimes the run is over. Right? I'm not saying that it's over. I'm saying that it's possible. The way that they looked in Brazil, then maybe they was out there partying trying to get they thug dizzles on. You know what I mean? Pat Mahomes is Pat Mahomes. He was running for his life. So, them old linemen probably saw some of them little young things and like, hey, hola, ¿cómo estás? And then they were speaking Portuguese because I think Brazil is Portuguese. They speak Portuguese in Brazil, if I'm not mistaken. Some of them do. So he probably was down there rocking, but Kansas City needs to turn it around. Like I said, the rest of the division won. The whole entire division won. Realist, what's going on with you? How you feeling? So, it's eye-opening when you see Kansas City start this way. It's mind-boggling when you see how Baltimore lost tonight. It's crazy, right? You don't expect things like that. You don't like I said, you don't expect almost said Mark Henry. Derrick Henry to fumble the ball after running for 170 yards with 167 yards on 18 carries. You don't expect things like that. So it's like, yo, hey, it don't look good, right? But other than that, most people didn't expect Aaron Rodgers to look like that. They might say Aaron Rodgers is back, but then something going to happen, and they're like, well, you ain't do it that game. Like I said, when you pay attention, when you watch football, you can tell what it really is. So it's not nothing but what happens. You play the game to win. You exploit the mistakes of the other team, and that's what's happening when Aaron Rodgers throw for 4 touchdowns. You exploit that. You exploit the errors of not being able to hold a 16-point lead, as Baltimore lost tonight. You exploit the weaknesses of not having a good enough defense to slow down the Philadelphia Eagles. That's the Dallas Cowboys. Now, your goal is to fix it as you go along. Okay, you can't just say, let's find the mistakes, because everybody's not the Philadelphia Eagles. Everybody's not the New York Jets. everybody's not Carolina Panthers. You see what I mean? Everybody's not. Everybody thinks they going to the Super Bowl, but they know there's 16 teams that know they ain't making the playoffs. So they know what it is. So they just have to figure out what they're going to do with themselves. So, but like I said, this is only week 1. It's only the first game of the year. They got 16 more games to figure it out, plus a bye week. But it's up to them to get it together. It's up to them to figure out what do we need to improve on. Not just keep looking at what we've done right. Even if you've done something right, you still can get better at it. You still can improve. A lot of these teams need to improve their defense. Like I said, there was a lot of stupid penalties, roughing the passes, personal fouls, all of that. We saw that before the game, before the season even had a play. Official offensive play. We saw a personal foul and a man got put out the game. That's what I'm saying. It's people have to gain their composures. Teams have to gain their composures. That's why you don't be out of position. You don't come out of your pocket. You be balanced enough not to have that personal foul. You have that balance not to be thrown out the game. You have that balance to make sure that you can stand in the pocket when that pocket is collapsing, or be able to escape the pocket collapsing, or throw the ball before you get hit. I know. Garrett Wilson is he kind of upset. He got popped. He got popped by Jalen Ramsey and lost that ball. But you was in position. Somebody else was in position. Your position is to make sure you catch the ball. His position, make sure you drop that ball. We see who won that because he dropped the ball. And that's what you got to do. You got to keep working. You got to keep working. Like I said, the way they got these preseason is not helping these guys. These guys want to have weeks off and all. Nah, you got to play. This game is about consistency. The more you practice, the more you're not going to perfect anything. You'll get close to it though if you keep working at it. And these are what these guys are not understanding. And like I said, there was a couple people that got injured. I believe one of the Eagles got injured. I don't know what his status is, but he was injured in the first game because they're not playing enough. They play one possession in preseason and get out the way. They may play a quarter in the second game, get out the way. They play one possession in the third game and then got 2 weeks off. You don't get better by doing that. You don't build your cohesion by doing that. I get it. They practice by themselves. Sometimes that practicing against other people can make you a better person. You keep practicing against your shadow don't hit back. That's why real life games are important. That's why those scrimmages used to be important. But they trying to stop that too. So, it's a lot that these guys got to work on. And, for some of them, they got next week to go. Like the Eagles have 10 days. The Eagles has 10 days. The Cowboys had 10 days. The Cowboys, they might be lucking into something. They playing the Giants. They may luck into a good game, but forgot how they lost and just look at the things that they did right. So, studying is always a key to life. Being observant always gets you to the finish line because you know how to get away from the ditches, the holes, and just continue to play. So that's what a lot of these teams got to do. Those that lost, focus on what you need to do to get better. Those that won, see the weaknesses of how you let the team get close to you and work on the things that you did well as too. So that way you can become a better team. But that's just a week in football. Now y'all know tomorrow is Monday Night Raw. We'll be back on tomorrow to talk about that and also go over the game of the Bears and the Vikings, and finish out the week. I will After Monday night, I will show what the teams that I picked correctly. Well, y'all, it's on the community wall. Y'all can see for yourselves how well if I did well or not. But I will post that after the Bear game, my final record. I know I lost a few games. I know I lost the Jet game. I picked them to win. I lost a couple of games. That Miami game, I'll definitely look. A lot of people lost that game. If they picked the Dolphins to beat the Colts, I know a lot of people feel the same way I did. But but this is why they play the game, because sometimes the unexpected can happen. Just like tonight, you don't expect nobody to blow a 15-point lead with 5 minutes to go, but it happens. But that's, like I said, that's what Herm said. That's why you play the game. You play the game to win. A lot of people ain't giving up to let them triple zeros get up there. So that's how we should approach real life as well. You keep going until you can't go no more. It's not over. You keep going to the time stops. Only time can stop you. Don't let your opponent stop you. You can overcome a deficit. Take that for what it is. As it is in sports, it can be in real life. Don't let nothing keep you back. Don't let nothing hold you back. You can be stronger than your opponent. Whatever your opponent is, your clock is still running. Y'all keep going to the finish line. You still can win your games. You still can win your race. So with that being said, y'all, I appreciate y'all coming through tonight. Like I said, we'll be back here tomorrow to talk about, the Monday night things. But, from the Channel 9 studio, Mr. 33 signing out. I appreciate y'all. See y'all tomorrow night. Or see y'all tonight because it's past 12. See y'all tonight.